It's episode 47 of the Pat McGann Show. This week, Pat welcomes Bears legend Tom Waddle with a special report on the World Cup from Marcelo Balboa. The Pat McGann Show, as always, is brought to you by Tiege Hanley, uncomplicated skincare for men. And now, here's Pat.
Hey guys, welcome in. We got a great episode this week. It's our 47th. Let me tell you what we got. We have our main guest, Tom Waddle, joining us, Bear legend. We're going to kick things off, though, with our friend Marcelo Balboa. He's been giving us some great World Cup updates. We're down to the Final Four. But before we jump in, I want to make you guys aware of something else. This is a great opportunity for you to win some cash, $1,000. Tiege Hanley is giving out $1,000 in celebration of 10 years of compliments. Just go to this link right here. I got a link right here. If you're listening, not watching, go to Tiege website, tiege.com, and find yourself a way to win $1,000. All right, let's get into this episode. Thanks for tuning in. Here we go.
All right, joining us once again, our World Cup expert. Let's get him in here, Marcelo Balboa. Good to see you, Marcelo. You look fresh.
I look like a wet poodle, man. But it's okay.
It's early, we're getting the day going here, and but it's not early in the World Cup. We're down to the Final Four. Did you see it this way? Any surprises? Which of the four surprises you the most?
I don't know. I mean, the first week always seems to go so slow, and then the games pick up, and now I feel like we're crawling like a little turtle getting to the finish line. There's no surprises. These are the top four ranked teams in the world. So I don't think there's,
I say it's chalk. It's like the NCAA.
Yeah,
it's
man.
all one.
Yeah,
season.
man. It's exactly it. So no surprises. I think everybody thought that eventually we would see these probably four teams. So we'll see what happens. I mean, the favorites are, if you look at it, you would think France is a favorite. And people are giving Argentina the nod over England because they're the reigning world champions. But I don't know. Argentina's been struggling a lot the way they've been playing lately, not the same team. Spain could give them a nice run, could give France a nice run today. So we'll find out. We'll find out today. First finalist comes out of the pod today. So
yeah, so we have France, Spain, England, Argentina.
Yep.
Is it me, or are these games a little bit closer together than they were in the
Yeah, they gave everybody had almost 6, 7 days between games before. And as the tournament goes on, it's a little shorter and shorter. So now I think it's like 4 days rust.
And how do you think these guys are feeling? Do you think it's they could keep going, or they're ready to wrap this thing up?
You got to keep going, man. You got to keep going. This is just reality. You're so close to winning I would say the most coveted trophy in the world, because no one else plays for a world championship in professional sports. The Olympics is different. So in football, baseball, basketball, you're U.S. champs. This is it, man. Not a lot of people reach the semifinals. Only 8 teams have been able to hold up that trophy to say they're world champions. So yeah, I would think that, and we won't have a new champion this year just because of the fact that each one of these teams has already won the World Cup. So, I think people were hoping for maybe a country that's never won it before. But here we are, my friend. Here we are.
Yeah, I know you mentioned you were kind of pulling for Morocco, that you would love to see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be obviously a wild finish with just having it be a Final Four. And I think that I was kind of wondering, like, these coaches, do you say anything at this point? Do players at this level, do you remember responding to any kind of rah-rah before, or is it just nothing needs to be said? Everyone knows
never made it to a semifinal of the World Cup, so I don't know. No, and listen, these guys, what motivation can you really? Are you going to yell at them? You're going to bite into them? I mean, what motivation do you need? You're in a semifinal, and you're one step away from playing in a final, from being one of the two teams that has a chance to win the World Cup. So I don't think there's any motivation. I think now the coach's job at this point is making sure mentally they're ready, physically they're ready throughout the week. And then you know what? The coach's job will be to tweak if he sees something out there, he can change a few things, or the timing of the subs will be very crucial for the coaches. But in the locker room, to pump up a bunch of grown men who make millions of dollars every year to play in the best tournament in the world, I don't see any this what's the miracle on ice. I don't see a speech like that coming.
Yeah. Who do you hold on to for substitution wise? What's the strategy? Because sometimes you see guys play the entire 90 minutes, right? Or sometimes you have guys coming in. Are you really just looking to, I mean, obviously it must depend if you're trying to catch up or protect the lead, but you really just want fresh legs?
Yeah, you listen. The subs are all different. They're strategically. If you're winning, you have certain subs you want to put in. If you're losing, you have certain subs you want to put in. If you're going to go to extra time, you know what I mean? Like we saw the other day, Holland came off the field. You see Ronaldo come off. Like I said, I don't see players like Mbappe, Messi, those kind of players, Olise. I don't see Harry Kane coming off the field. If they're going to extra time, you're going to go to penalty kicks. So I think the majority of the coach's job will be trying to figure out tactically how you can take an advantage so you can adjust in the hydration breaks. And then at the end, making the right subs towards the end, and maybe gives your team that little bit of an extra boost to see if you can get that goal to win the game.
I saw that, they also have the third place game. I don't know how I feel about that. What do you think about this third place game? It's a little bit.
It used to be more of okay, this is where all the guys that haven't played a lot get to play. And it's almost like an NBA All-Star game. You know what I mean? Both teams are going back and forth. They're scoring. But more teams now are taking it more serious because of the fact prize money's huge. Getting a third place medal is huge in a World Cup. So I think that a lot of teams now are starting to take that third place game seriously. But you got it when you're in a tournament. You got to have. When you're like this, you got to have, just like the Olympics. You need a bronze medalist, right? You got to play that game. So it does give an opportunity for a lot of guys that haven't played an opportunity to play.
You might need a speech for that game. That's the one you need to get guys.
That one you probably need a speech, but not really a big one, because the guys that haven't played will finally get to play in a World Cup. They'll get minutes. They'll probably get 90. So they're pretty excited about a third place game because they get an opportunity to play.
Is there anything going on outside of the actual game itself that we can look forward to this week, entertainment wise? Are they doing any?
There are, since the games are so spread apart, they're in Atlanta and in Dallas, I believe. There was watch parties everywhere. I know on Sunday I'll be, hopefully if Argentina makes the final, I'll be either at an Argentine restaurant or I'll be at the house with my asadito, my choripan, and I'll be enjoying the game. But everything that's going on now, most of it will happen here in New York in the final. So I think people, the week of, the 16th or the 19th, that those few days leading into it, I believe there's going to be some stuff going on in New York.
Yeah, it's been a great tournament, and I know we're going to check in one more time next week, but this has been a lot of fun keeping tabs with everything through you, Marcelo, and I appreciate the time you've been giving us. And I hope that this soccer fever, because there is a World Cup fever. My sister is really into it. She listens to the podcast as well. I was talking to her over the weekend. Her and her husband are big time, out of nowhere, just
nice.
Really got into the World Cup. And we want to see that continue because we got a great league here in the States, MLS, and hopefully we will see that.
We're open. It's been a big boost. It's been great. I think when the U.S. made a great run, winning 3 games, people were excited. And then they lose to Belgium, and they kind of lost a little bit of the steam. But I'll be honest with you, Pat. I've seen a lot of hate out there about soccer, which really throws it doesn't really, I guess it doesn't surprise me when you don't know the sport and you're a lover of American football and all that stuff. But I've seen quite a few things on Instagram. And I'm just just shocked to see how people responded after the U.S. loss, hating soccer. This is America. We do American football. But it was it's been kind of weird to see a little bit of that stuff going on, but there's been more positive than negative. So yeah, you know what, with MLS, with Griezmann signing in Orlando, Lewandowski signing in Chicago, and more signings to come, I think that this was going to be a big boost for American soccer or football, the way you want to go. But the only thing we've ever wanted is give it a chance. Go out a game, support your local team, give it a chance and see. Stop comparing it to the World Cup, stop comparing it to the EPL, La Liga. You know what I mean? It's a growing sport, and it's a sport that's not going anywhere.
Don't you think that it's almost like propaganda, and it was kind of taught by these people that started American football? I think they really kind of put the word on the street like, no, man, soccer, anyone that plays soccer, you're going to make fun of them. We're going to embarrass them. We're going to call them weak. We don't play that in our country. I think it goes back to that. And now we're a little bit more, enlightened and civilized, and we realize it's a great game, and it's we don't have to feel threatened by it.
You know what? Let's listen, there's one thing that we've never wanted in our sport is we've never wanted to dabble into the football crowd or the baseball crowd, because soccer is a global sport. Okay. It's played in every single country all over the world. So all we want to do is help our sport keep getting better, men and women. And if you don't like it, great, but you don't need to beat it up. You don't need to. I mean, that's what blows my mind away, And but that's reality. You know what I mean? When you don't know something, it's easier to be negative than it is to be positive. So I think a lot of people don't understand the sport. They see one goal and they think it's a boring game. You know what I mean? But if you see a football game that's 21-0, oh my God, 21 points. No, that's 3 touchdowns. So it's really 3-0. So, it kind of, maybe we should do that. Any goal outside the box is 3 points, inside the box is 1, a penalty, So I don't know. Like I said, man, we've worked really hard. The World Cup's been here twice. The 2 biggest World Cups ever held in history have been the United States in 94 and 2026. So we must be doing something right here.
Yeah, it was cool how they spread it out, and had some games in Canada and Mexico too. It's been a lot of fun, and we're down to the final, man. So I'm looking forward to next week. We'll have a champion. Enjoy the last 2 games here, man.
I will enjoy them, and then maybe I'll see you in Seattle, my friend.
How about that? You're going to be in Seattle this week, huh? And I'm out there on Friday night. Let's do it in person.
Let's do it. Let's do it,
great, man. All right, Marcelo, thank you for joining us. And
anytime, my friend.
Give it to us right now. Who you got?
Ooh, I'm going to go with France, only because of how lethal they've been and all the weapons they have. And then,
that's what they're known for.
I know. They're rolling, man. So, and then I'm going to go with Argentina because Argentine mom and pops. And if I say anything else, they may not invite me over for a barbecue anymore. So I'm going to stick with Argentina.
And then who you got in the final?
I hate to say it, but I think France may have just a little too much this time. You know what I mean? So in the 3rd place game, I think Spain will beat England.
That's what I'm interested in, the 3rd place game. I got Spain upsetting France, and I'm going to go with Argentina for you and your family. All right. I'm going to say that Argentina wins it all again.
All right. I hope you're right. So
I know you do. You're just scared to say it. You're going to jinx them.
I don't want to jinx him. My son told me before. He goes, "You didn't do that last time, Dad." Listen, my son is wearing the exact same shirt he wore 4 years ago. He's not taking it off because they didn't lose in that World Cup, and they haven't lost yet in this World Cup. He is wearing the damn exact same shirt over a 4-year period. He only wears it for the World Cup, so he has not washed it. And I'm so glad I'm here in Connecticut and he's in Colorado, because that thing must smell by now.
I would love to take someone to the game, the 3rd place game, telling them that it was the championship, and then at the end of the game be like, that was actually just that was the 3rd place game. The big one's tomorrow. All right, Marcelo, thank you, my friend. Buddy. Great to see you, bud.
You too, buddy. Enjoy. Take care.
Hey guys, quick question. Are you washing your face with the same soap you wash your car with? Do you shower in the driveway too? It's time to step things up. That's why I like Tiege Hanley. It's a super simple skincare system made for guys. Cleanse, moisturize, exfoliate. It's all laid out so you don't have to think about it. Just a few minutes a day and your skin actually looks better. Head to Tiege.com/Pat for 40% off and a free gift. Start taking care of your face like an adult. That's Tiege.com/Pat. All right, we are back. And guys, come on. I use the word banger often.
Yeah.
But it may not ever be more true than today. A total banger of an episode. We have Tom Waddle joining Dwayne Kennedy and I right here. Tom, good to see you.
What is a banger,
dude.
by the way? Great to see you
I just
guys.
like the
What
word.
is a banger?
It just means that we got a huge. I just build it.
Okay.
I just build it up.
It's what the cool kids say these
Yeah,
days.
Try to, you know, you got to have like a little lingo. Don't you have your own? Like,
I don't, no.
Short term. You have your own vocab with Silvy.
I struggle to put words together over the course of our 4-hour show, so I'm not so sure I'm hip in that manner. But I get it. I'll run with it.
All right, I'm going to give just a little bit of a background on you. I'm sure 90%, 95% of people listening right now know Tom Waddle. But for those that don't, because we are a little bit out of Chicago as well, Tom Waddle, not only one of the most beloved Chicago Bear of all time.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
And also has a radio show, talk show on ESPN 1000.
Yep.
For 19 years, you've been paired up with Silvy.
Yes.
And that is quite an accomplishment. You're just saying that 19 years. No one has touched that.
Not in the history of Chicago sports radio. And listen, some of the the all-time greats, the Godfathers, Mike North and Dan Jiggets and Terry Boers and Dan McNeil. So we take a lot of pride in the fact that we've been able to maintain our relationship, not kill each other.
Because there's management comes in and out. There's different people running the
They
stuff.
kind of let us be, which I think is maybe unique to the industry these days. But I think over the course of, if you do this long enough, there's a trust factor that you have with management. So like every now and again, they'll kind of rein us in, but for the most part, they kind of let us do our thing. So we're infinitely, appreciative to our management.
Well, I think everybody is appreciative of you guys too. It's a phenomenal show, has been for you for years.
Yeah. Thank you.
And but preceding this, I want to talk a little bit. Well, first of all, I went to the University of Dayton. I was telling you, you're from
a flyer.
Cincinnati.
You're a flyer. Yeah. I grew up in Cincinnati, Ohio, and like the vast majority of the guys I went to an all guys Catholic school, Moeller High School. And if you weren't going to Dayton, you were going to Miami, Ohio, or you were going to Ohio State. So yeah, I have a great familiarity with
I had some buddies that went to Moeller.
Did you
Several
really?
friends that went to Moeller.
And they claimed, like, we're a really proud crew. So
no doubt.
They were probably a little bit
Moeller T-shirts.
Yeah. They
all
wear
the
your ass
time.
out telling you how great the school was and how great the football team was.
Impressive school. I mean.
Yeah. I mean, listen, think about, when I was there from, I got to get my math right now, from like 85 to 80 or 82 to 85. So I graduated in 85. When I was a senior, Ken Griffey Jr. was a sophomore. So, and when I was a freshman, Barry Larkin was a senior. So as well known as we were for football, I don't know that there is a high school in the U.S. that can boast having 2 Major League Baseball MVPs come from the same high school. So,
Hall of Famers.
Right, Hall of Famers. Yeah, so crazy. But
weren't you inducted into the Moeller Hall with Griffey?
I actually think I think I got in about the same time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to be at the ceremony because I was at Boston College at the time I was going to school. But yeah, I tell people all the time too, like, look, I've been blessed. Like, look at me. I don't look like a football player. Nobody expected me to get to the National Football League. Yeah. But when people talk about your career, I always tell them, I'm quick to say, my most enjoyable moments on the football field were in high school. Like, because it's unadulterated, just there's no stress. It's just fun with your friends. When you get to the college level, if you are serious about your education, you're going to school and your commitments are 12 months a year on the football field. So it's basically like having 2 jobs. I loved it. And then when you get to the NFL, it's actually a job. So I go all the way back to high school. And People ask me my favorite moments were all on the high school football field.
I wonder if that's the same today for high school kids, because everything seems to just be turned up, especially with athletics too. It's like,
well, some of these SOBs are getting paid probably these days too. So
Yeah.
NIL didn't exist in college when I was there, and something tells me it's going to creep into the high school level too. So, but yeah, it's probably different. But
did you play other sports?
I was baseball. Baseball was my favorite sport.
Really?
But again, when you watch Ken Griffey Jr. hit a baseball in the batting cage, you realize that's not your destiny. And I like,
is that
look,
what it was?
Yeah, I just couldn't. I could have played.
Was he
like,
playing varsity up with you? Like,
no, he wasn't. Like, I forget what the issue was back in the time, but we had my senior year, we had a good team, but we weren't great. We definitely could have used Griff, but he was on the sophomore team. Funny thing is on that, when he became a senior, by the time he was a senior, his senior team, the varsity team, they ended up having 5 guys off that same roster that played in Major League Baseball.
Hey.
And I'm not talking about the minors. There were 5 guys that legitimately played Major League Baseball. It was Griff. It was a kid named Adam Heisdu, who was an outfielder with Pittsburgh. The Bell brothers, Mike and David Bell. Buddy's kids were there, and there was another kid whose name escapes me. But
Did
5
Buddy Bell-
guys on the same high school team played in Major League Baseball.
Did they win state?
I think they won everything.
They won everything.
They won every state.
Yeah.
They won Ohio.
Yeah.
They won Illinois. They won every state they played in.
They won in life.
They won in life.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
And Buddy Bell went there as well?
I'm not. He may have. I'm
maybe I
not so
saw that.
sure. But Buddy played in Cincinnati, so I mean, he raised his kids there. So.
Yeah. So growing up in Cincinnati, all boys Catholic high school.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Skyline? Are you a Skyline chili
Never
guy?
got into it. Like the 5 ways, the 3 ways, all that other stuff. Never. The cheese conies I would partake in, but I was never a huge Skyline guy.
What is that? Skyline chili. What is
Skyline
that?
chili.
It's basically chili on a bed of noodles with onions and cheese and beans. It's a hot mess. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
And I don't know many of the people that I grew up with. It wasn't really
Popular during the Depression.
Yeah, exactly.
Chili and noodles.
yeah.
Got me
could find
depressed
it.
just describing it.
Yeah, you
But
could
they
make
have
it at
They have
home.
the hot dogs too.
Yeah,
Big time on hot dogs.
Yeah.
Chili dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's not like a Vienna beef, not like a
No.
I don't think it has the same kind of.
taste.
I don't know how much taste it has, but it's not like an Italian beef or some of the other stuff that you run across here in Chicago.
Yeah, but Cincinnati is a good town, good food town.
Great town.
So you get recruited out of there to go to Boston College. Was that a difficult decision? Did you have a lot of schools talking to you?
Not really, because like of my high school football team was the best team. I say this, and you can check it. It's not me just bloviating here. We were the number 1 team in the country for 13 weeks. We started the number 1 team in the country. We were the 13 weeks. We were the number 1 team in the country throughout all of the regular season. You're bringing up a sore subject because of all the things that I've been blessed with in my athletic career. This is the thing that still sits with me at the age of 59. We got to the first round of the playoffs, and if there was a betting line on the game, we played Centerville. We would have been 35-point favorites.
Oh,
Kirk
man.
Herbstreit was actually a freshman on that team. He wasn't playing, but he was a freshman on that team. We'd have been a 35-point favorite. We had a historic rainstorm, like 4 inches of rain in a matter of an hour and a half, 2 hours, and we got beat 10-7. And I dropped a pass in the end zone, went right through my hands, couldn't really see it because of the rain. To this day, I do wake up. Again, I'm 59 years old. I wake up with a nightmare of not making that play.
You Jackie Smithed it?
I did. Yeah, I may have to leave and go take a break here thinking about it.
Hey, but thanks for coming on the show,
Yeah,
though.
thanks, guys. It was great. But
I just
we were
asked
the
you
number
about
1
getting
team.
recruited.
Yeah, I know. But so the point was like
You're bringing
I was,
up a sore subject.
Yeah.
The room got dark.
You know what? It
the-
was kind of cathartic. I kind of needed to get
Yeah.
that out. But I was probably the 5th or 6th highest recruited kid on my own high school team. Like Ohio State came in to see me, and I had no contact with them. And Earl Bruce was the head coach, and Jim Tressel was the recruiting coordinator, and he was the offensive coordinator. Still wearing that damn vest, even when he was back then. But they came in, and they're like, my coach was like, "Hey, Ohio State wants to talk to you." I'm like, "Why the hell do they want to talk to me? Ohio State's not interested in me." So I sat with them, and it was like a 25-minute conversation. And at the end of it, they were like, hey, and by the way, can you put in a good word for us with your quarterback, Mark Camphouse, who was like, I want to say either the top recruit in the country or the number 2 recruit. The only reason why they were even interested in me is because they knew, like, not only was Mark Camphouse was my quarterback, but he was also my neighbor. He lived 2 houses away, and we were best of friends. So they were trying to get me to go to Ohio State with no intent of even playing me, but hoping that I would be the bait to get my quarterback in.
Oh, man.
So, so Ohio State, I was recruited. The 3 schools I actually really considered were North Carolina, Michigan State, and Boston College. And I have a funny Michigan State story. I went to Michigan State. It was my first visit. And I remember you go on these visits and, they try to entertain you and have a great time. And I remember just getting shit-faced.
At what, 18, 17, 18?
We're not talking about the age. I think in Cincinnati at the time, I think 19 was a drinking age.
Okay.
And, maybe it was 18 and I was grandfather. Whatever the case, I was in East Lansing.
But you were in Michigan.
Yeah, that's right. So I wasn't legal. But we went and just had a blast. And if I remember this correctly, I came back from the bars. We were staying at a Holiday Inn on campus. And I didn't even go up to my room. I went there was a public bathroom on the first floor, and I went into the men's room and just threw up everywhere.
Oh, man.
And probably laid there until 3 a.m. Got myself up, finally went into my room, and next thing I know, it's like 8:30 in the morning, and there's this huge knock on the door. It's my dad. And my dad's like the calmest human being on the face of the planet. Never drank, never smoked, was allergic to alcohol. I probably was adopted because that's not my lineage. But he looked at me and he's like, it's the only time I think my dad's ever really been that mad at me. He goes, you're a disgrace.
Oh, man.
And I'm like, you're right. He goes, get dressed. We got to go meet Coach Perlis. Coach Perlis was the coach at the time. So we get to the office, doing everything I can not to puke on Coach Perlis's desk. And it's like a 20-minute kind of conversation. And Coach Perlis is like, he's like, Tom, how'd you like your trip? And I said, Coach, this place is fabulous. The team was great. They took care of us, got a chance to see the campus. Everything was fabulous. And, the conversation lasts for a little bit. And he goes, well, we really like you. We've narrowed it down. We have 1 scholarship left to give to a wide receiver. We've narrowed it down to 2 guys. It's you and a local kid from Flint named Andre Rison.
Oh, man.
He goes, we'll stay in touch. Hopefully this will all work out. But, thanks for coming and visiting. Never heard from George Perlis again because he obviously made the right choice.
Right,
Andre Rison went there and was an All-American wide receiver, had a great career in the National Football League. So that was my trip that was my first college trip. I went to Michigan State.
You could have ended up with Lisa Left Eye from TLC.
That's right.
Yeah.
Isn't that?
Yeah,
is
playing
that
for the Falcons. Right.
I'm not
Could've burned down your house.
Not sure we would have been compatible. But it was quite interesting. So I also visited North Carolina, but I went to Boston College because, first of all, I had this dream of playing in the NFL, but I thought it was kind of unrealistic. So I was really, focused on getting a great education. So I thought I could go to Boston College, get a great education, and at that time was the year after Doug Flutie had, done all the miraculous things he did.
That game, all right,
was unbelievable.
But
I went there because
right?
I thought I could play. I played with Darren. Darren and I were the starting wide receivers for BC for like 3 years. Yeah, so it was Darren and I.
Yeah, you had a great career, man.
It was fun.
BC,
yeah.
Were you and you were part of the? Did you beat Notre Dame?
I was not part. I was a little bit too old for that. That happened after I'd already graduated. In fact, I watched that game with Chris Zorich on the field in Kansas City as we were getting ready. It was a walkthrough at Kansas City. We were playing the Chiefs on Sunday. Wani was the coach at the time, and Chris and I weren't paying attention. We were watching the game on some little device that he had, and as we're doing walkthrough, we're not paying attention, and it didn't go well. But that kick went this way and then that way and went through. It was one of the happiest days of my life.
Yeah, that was insane.
It was great, but I missed that.
And then that Flutie call before you enroll, like a year or two before.
It was November of the year before I got there, down in Miami.
And on that
call,
one of the broadcasters,
my father-in-law.
Your father-in-law.
Yeah.
Oh,
Gino
man.
Capoletti.
Which is wild, huh?
It is. It's crazy. Obviously, I didn't know him at the time. I met my wife when I was a junior, and she was a senior at school. But yeah, pretty cool that not only did he call my college games, but he was an all-time great Patriot, all-time leading scorer in the history of the AFL and
MVP of the AFL, 64.
Yep.
Huge guy in Boston, legend.
It was a coach there for a little bit, but then was in the booth for 30 years, and he actually was calling. I think we played against the Patriots a couple of times, and he was actually on the call for the radio or the Patriots broadcast, and I was on the other team. He had a lot of nice things to say about me.
Oh, that's
which
wild.
is cool.
Yeah.
Tiege Hanley has changed my life. My skin has been amazing.
We're the #1 men's skincare routine in America.
When I got here, they go, we're just waiting for the podcast guest. We know you're here for pictures.
They thought you were a model?
Yeah, you guys, he's glowing. In fact, Nate Bargatze was like, your skin's awesome.
Just like, I look forward to I'm washing my face before I go to sleep.
I think we haven't had any 40-year-olds on the podcast. And I said, I'm 50. And everyone goes, what?
Tiege Hanley. It's the way we face the day. And then do you think that had any influence on you following broadcasting? Seeing that was like a path of post-career?
Not really. It's really funny. I had no idea that that's the route I would take. I had a Boston College finance degree, and if I was lucky enough to play in the NFL, my goal was to, when I'm done, I was going to go to Wall Street with all my colleagues from college. But then I got introduced to the world of Chicago media. And, kind of when I established myself in 91, every station had a Sunday night show. You had McMichael with Gene Greco on Channel 5. You had, I think it was Johnny Morris and Howard Sudbury on the Channel 2 show. So I got an opportunity to do that show pretty regularly. And as my career kind of evolved, I ended up doing a weekly radio show with Dave Ennett at Jordan's Restaurant. And I just kind of was enamored with the business. And when I got done playing, you get lost for a while, even if you think you're as prepared and ready for life after football as maybe you exaggerate or you anticipate. It really isn't that way. I got an opportunity.
Yeah.
So I was like, let's try this out. And then I found that, there's no way that you can replace the adrenaline rush that exists with running out from underneath the goalpost being announced as a starting player in the National Football League. It's just like a dream come true. And when that ends, you're kind of lost. And you kind of look for that. You look for that adrenaline rush. You look for that performance moment. And I found that whether it was television or radio, it was the closest thing I could really, experience that was even somewhat like playing football. So when the light goes on, you better have something to say. And I kind of, I enjoyed it. So that's kind of like, that was my start. And I don't want to see or hear any of the early work I did from, the mid 90s, because I'm sure it was all trash. But over the course of time, you learn your craft.
I know that feeling. I want to see last week's show that we did.
It is crazy.
What is the average length of an NFL career?
It's less than 4 years.
Less than 4 years.
It really is. I mean, so you're a vested veteran after 4 years. If you can make it 4 years, like you've exceeded the average, lifespan career-wise of an NFL player. So it's very fleeting. Obviously, it's very physically taxing, and it's very mentally challenging. And
I want to talk a little bit about that because, I loved going back and watching your highlights. I mean, I watched you growing up. I was in high school during these years. You were a Bear from 89 to 94.
Yeah.
Awesome career. You were the guy. Everyone in the backyard was like, I'm Tom Waddle. I'm going,
Because most of those guys were as physically gifted as I was. So there was a direct connection. I can do what he does. Damn right you can.
I mean, how many white wide receivers were in the league while you were playing?
Okay, so can I deviate real quick a story? We're playing the Falcons in 91. I have a really good game. Deion's across from me the majority of the game. Oh, man. And the one thing I found out about Deion, and then I worked with Deion for years. I love Deion Sanders. I worked with him out in Los Angeles at the NFL Network. But for whatever reason, Jerry Glanville thought the best, way to defend the Chicago Bears at the time, and we were not an offensive juggernaut, was to have Deion follow me across the field. So I'm thinking when I get out there, I'm like, shit, this is going to go really bad, because he's Deion, the best corner that's ever played.
Have you played against him before?
This is the first time.
First time.
We came out the same year. And I'm like, I'm going to get dominated. He's going to talk to me the whole time, throw me off my game. I don't think Deion said a word to me over the course of the game. It was very quiet. But I had a good game. You know, there's this myth that I beat Deion Sanders, outran him to the end zone. And there is a play where I caught a short pass on about the 40-yard line in the middle of the field and took it in for a touchdown. Well, that play, Deion wasn't on me. So the simple geometry was Deion was coming from the other sideline, and I got to the end zone before he got me. And I got this great picture in my office. He's diving and swiping at my feet, and he misses me. I get in the end zone. So after the game, we beat the hell out of the Falcons in it. A big game for me was like 4 catches for 48 yards. So, you know, you go to the middle of the field after the game, and you exchange pleasantries. And I don't know if Deion would cop to this story, and I think he would. And I think we talked about it at one point, and we met at the middle of the field, and I had so much respect for him because he was great. He said, Waddle, and I go, I honestly said, yes, Mr. Sanders. He goes, you're the best white wide receiver I've played against. And I'm like, get out of here. So I just float. I go into the locker room, and my best friend on the team was John Mangum, who happened to be a white safety from Alabama. We kind of played the game in similar fashion, and he goes, Tom, great game. I said, that's not even the part. What he said, you had 40 yards and a touchdown. I said, John, that ain't even the best part of it. He goes, how can it get better than that? I said, midfield after the game, Deion said I was the best white wide receiver I ever played against. And John kind of laughed. He had that southern drawl. He was from Mississippi. He goes, well, Tom, there's you, there's Ricky Prohl and Eddie McCaffrey, and I don't think he's played against either of the other two. So put it all in perspective. So like that was kind of like one of those moments where you kind of check yourself. But
these names that are flying, Jerry Glanville, and
takes you back to your youth,
really
doesn't
does.
it?
Well, I mean, just the fact that you come into the Bears, you're playing for Mike Ditka.
Oh yeah,
you know, this has got to be. You got to have some Ditka stories. Do you have a? He must have loved you.
What I found about Mike early on was, if you present yourself with loyalty and honesty, you're going to get it back, 10 times from him. You want to work hard. You want to be honest with your how you approach the game. You want to be loyal to your team and your teammates and to everybody else. There's a rumor that the only reason that he actually had an interest in me is because he was really good friends with my father-in-law, Gino Capoletti. They were business partners in something. I choose not to think that. Thought he was just enamored with my physical skill.
As far as like getting an opportunity?
Yeah, but he cut me 4 times.
Wow.
But in 91, after I'd played like 3 or 4 games total in my first 2 years, I was on the practice squad. I was sitting in his office, cut down day, the 91 season, and I was expecting, my ass is going to get cut again. And coach looks at me and goes, Tom, he said the same damn thing to me every time. Had a great training camp. Didn't drop a pass. Didn't miss a practice. But he always used to look at me and go, but look at yourself, kid. What are you, 6 foot, 185 pounds? If I put you out there, you're going to get killed, and I'm going to go to jail for manslaughter. So I can't. So we're just going to put you on the practice squad and let you develop. And so he cut me that day, and he said, but we're bringing you back. And I looked at him. He goes, we've had some injuries. You're going to be on the roster. You're going to be suited up for the opening game of the season against the Vikings in 91. I looked at him. I go, I'm going to play on Sunday against the Vikings? He goes, no, you're not going to play. You're just going to be in uniform in case a disaster hits.
Let's not get crazy.
Yeah.
Slow down.
We get out there, and one of our other receivers gets hurt.
Who was
It's a true story. I think it may have been Anthony Morgan may have gotten hurt. It was Anthony Morgan or Ron Morris got hurt.
Oh, man.
And I'm not lying. Like, I was barely paying attention. I was just admiring myself being in uniform on the opening day.
You
of
like
the NFL
Forrest
season.
Gump standing there when they just hands on the ball.
Yeah, and I'm not expecting to play. And then you see one of the receivers coming off the field, and I hear this scream, and like this guttural scream, Waddle. And I was like, oh, shit, what did I do? And I run over to the coach. It was coach, and he goes, you got to get in. And I looked at him, and I swear to you, I looked at him, and I said, why? And he says, because Anthony's coming off the field, and I don't have anybody else. And he says to me, don't try to run too fast. Don't try to jump too high, because you can't do either. Just do what you're asked to do, and don't make any mistakes. I mean, what a rallying cry for you. Go in there and don't screw up. But I got in a huddle, and all my teammates kind of respected me because through the course of that, couple of years trying to make my way, they saw how hard I worked, and I did have some skill. And Harbaugh kind of looked at me and was like, what are you doing in here? And I was like, well, I'm the last guy on the list. So So I think the first play I was in, I caught like a third down catch that converted a first down, so I'm feeling good about myself. We get to the end of the first half, and there's like 35 seconds left, and we, third down, and we run this 4-wide set. And I got Kaz on my far outside. He's slower than me. I think we got Dennis Gentry in a slot and another receiver. Yeah. Pinky was the best. And I'm split wide right. And Harbaugh in the huddle goes, we're going to run 72 all go. And I'm looking at him like, we're going to run 4 streaks? And he goes, yeah, that's what they sent in. So I get off the line of scrimmage. I get behind Todd Scott. And I'm like 5 yards behind him. I'm like, I could walk off the field right now and my life has been a success. I just got deep on an NFL cornerback. But, you can't walk off the field in the middle of the play. You got to keep running. So I get down to the 5-yard line, and I turn around, and I see the ball floating at me, and the first thought is, oh, shit, you better catch this. I dive out. I catch the ball, bounce in the end zone, and it's a touchdown.
Oh, man.
Puked a little bit on my face mask because I landed on my elbows. So all my teammates are coming over to celebrate with me. And, I got kind of my breakfast on my face mask. So. But at the end of the game, we beat the Vikings.
Think of Michigan State?
I was going to say.
Pretty much. Yeah, I'm always puking. I don't know what it is. But we beat the Vikings that day 10-6. And I'm at the middle of the field, and I'm crying like a baby. And Coach comes up to me, and he's like, kid, I knew you could do it. Played a great game. And I duck my head, and I go into this long, thought-out soliloquy of, Coach, you're the only guy in the National Football League that believed in me. I promise you from this day on, if you give me the opportunity over and over, I'm going to deliver for you. I'm going to work harder than anyone. I keep going on. I lift my head. He's 30 yards away from me. He's heading into the tunnel. So, I mean, like...
That's when that picture was taken, when he's just like...
Yeah, it's pretty much. It was to me.
The camera.
It was to me.
It was to you.
But like, yeah, it was like... But it's so funny. I was so thrilled for myself, but I was like, I felt so indebted to him for giving me the opportunity, like the feeling of just pride and gratitude.
Cut 4 times.
Well, you know what? Yeah. And you weren't drafted, right?
Okay, yeah, I'm full of stories, aren't I? I normally don't remember anything.
Yeah.
So
well, you were tackled a lot.
Yeah.
I came out in the '89 draft, greatest draft in NFL history.
Okay.
Troy Aikman's 1, Tony Mandrich is 2. That didn't work out.
Oh man.
Barry Sanders is 3, Deion Sanders is 4, Derek Thomas is 5.
Dang.
So 4 of the first 5 draft picks of the '89 draft are Hall of Famers. Yeah. Steve Atwater, who was a great safety for the Broncos, was drafted like 18. So 5 guys in the first round are in the Hall of Fame. Greatest draft in NFL history.
Wow.
I went undrafted. So I claim to be part of that draft, but I went undrafted. But yeah, I knew I could play in the league. When I went to the combine, I was 6 foot, 175 pounds. I think I'd lost 5 or 6 pounds. I was sick going in. I ran a 4.79 and a 4.82. I was the slowest receiver at the Indianapolis Combine. So I knew I wasn't going to get drafted, but I knew I could play. So I went to camp, had a good camp, made it all the way to the final cut down, got cut. Mike gave me that speech about being slow and small, and he was going to get arrested if I got killed out there. Went through the second camp, did the same thing, led the team in receiving and training camp, got the same speech on cut down day, got cut, put me on the practice squad. And then that's, when I got to 91, when I told you a story about that, that's I got cut again, but I got cut 4 separate times.
Yeah. Just to stay with it.
Yeah.
Well, I had you making money? How were you? You were practice squad? You still
practice squad, but back in I think guys on the practice squad today make like $300,000 a year, and God bless them, good for them. Yeah. We made $1,000 a week.
Whoa! Wow.
So I was scheduled. I think the first contract I signed coming out of college, I got a $4,000 signing bonus. Thought I was rich. Signed a 1-year deal for $45,000. But was put on the practice squad, so I was making $1,000 a week. My first year in the NFL in '89, I was scheduled to make $16,000. I was activated, I want to say, for 3 or 4 games, so I ended up making $42,000 my first year in the National Football League. Wow. But over the course of the first 3 years, I was cut 4 times.
And the only reason I brought it up is because
you wanted to make me feel the pain.
Sure, that's a given. But no, because you said your dream was to get into the NFL. Yes. So I was wondering, how long do you think you would have persevered?
It's such a great question, and I tell the story all the time as well. I went into the 91 training camp with basically with the thought, if I didn't make the team in 91, I was going to go I mean, I had a finance degree from BC. All of my college teammates and roommates, some were on Wall Street, others were still in Boston working in the financial industry. And I just called my dad and I was like, look, I'm going to give this one more shot. My wife and I were engaged at the time.
Oh, wow.
And it was just like, I love this sport. It's meant everything. But I think with the amount of hard work that I've put in and everything, I just think I get a greater return on my investment, my time, my energy, and effort if I go somewhere else. And I didn't want to put my wife through, through all of the nonsense of getting cut and not being able to pay the bills and all that other stuff. So I went into the 91 season in the training camp saying this was it. If I don't make it, it was going to be, I was going to segue into my next stage of life. So I got cut, but as I mentioned, I got re-signed, and then it kind of blossomed from there. Like that one game, that one catch on third down kind of caught some people's attention, and then you make the touchdown catch, which ends up being the game winner because we won 10-6. And then it's just, there's no way to describe how it just, everything kind of opened up for me.
Very shortly after that, you're a household name in Chicago, at least. And then larger, you had a great game that Madden did, Madden and Summerall.
Yeah.
And
the 91 playoff game
put you on
the
the Dallas playoff game.
Yeah.
Put you on the All-Madden team. So
Yeah, it
you
was
should be
me.
the captain of the, I mean, you're out there going across the middle, taking hits like you would not believe. You would be pulled out of a game by now. I mean, they had smelling salts.
Yeah, and look, I say this to people all the time. I harbor no animosity towards our medical staff or any. It was just the nature of the beast back then.
Right.
Like there was kind of an unwritten rule or kind of a thought that when they give you the finger test, how many fingers I'm holding up. If you got within 2, they'd leave you in the game. So like if he's holding 3.
And you say Thursday.
I say Thursday, you're off. But if you say 2, you're in.
Yeah.
If you say 1, borderline. If you say I can't see any of your fingers, then you're not going in. But so like I got the concussion in that game early in the game. I hit my head on the back of my head on the field. But Urlacher said it years later. He's like, look, when you had a head injury, you reached for your knee because they'll leave you in with a knee injury or a minor knee injury. But as soon as they realize you have a head injury, then they're more.
How are you able to perform? How are you able to run the route and hit the cuts when you just are in like default mode? You just kind of cruise control.
It's kind of
just in it.
Yeah, man.
It's hard to explain. It's just you've done it so repetitiously over the course of time, and it's second nature for you. And I spent my entire life afraid that I was going to be told to leave the building. So like I wasn't coming out.
Yeah.
So I had to, they would have
diagnosed
diagnosed it as a concussion early in the game. And then later in the game, Billy Bates hit me square on, like in the third quarter. And I don't know that you can have 2 concussions in one day, but that sealed the deal. If there was any doubt that I was concussed, I was concussed.
You see it in your eyes on the sideline. You're kind of walking around. Then all of a sudden, it's like a reel of this game. Then he's back out there.
And I caught a touchdown pass.
A touchdown.
And I don't remember it. And when you only have 10 career touchdown passes, it kind of hurts to this day. You don't remember one of them. We lost that game 17-13, I think. And I remember I spent the next day and a half in the hospital, and I don't remember. I'm told by my wife that I got in the front seat of the car with Dr. Munsell, who was our GP at the time. We're going to take him up to Lake Forest Hospital and check him out. And I was kind of looking, and my wife was in the back seat, and I looked at the doctor, and I said, "Who's that?"
Oh, wow.
So I didn't even recognize my wife.
Jeez.
Oh, my God.
So I went up, and they did what they did, but...
The Bears.
Exactly.
Where am I?
That was my life,
Yeah,
so
man.
it's.
we
joke about it, but it's so funny that it's not funny. There was just an article that came out. I talk about it in a joking manner, but I'm very serious and very cognizant of the grief that it has caused. Head injuries have caused people. They just came out with a new study, and I think Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston and the CTE Institute up there, where they do great work, and they just came out with a study that says NFL players are 4 times more likely to die of whatever diseases and Alzheimer's and early onset dementia. If your first thought is no shit, like you spend your whole life hitting heads, but
Chris Johnson, just
Yes.
diagnosed, 39 years old,
Yeah.
with ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And, man.
And we lost Steve McMichael to the disease. It's brutal. Like, and to see, and like I say, I joke about it, but by the same token, I also want to be very respectful for the families of the players that, it's part of the, the job description. It's one of the inherent risks of a really violent sport. But, I'm 59 now. I would be lying to you if I didn't say it crossed my mind every now and again.
I wanted to ask you, man, just how much to play at the level you played at, how much of that are you just gifted with a high pain threshold, or your desire and your will is so strong that you would play in spite, an injury that an average person would not,
It's a great question. I think it's a combination of things. I tell people all the time I was just stupid, and I didn't want to go to the financial district, so I just wanted to keep playing. I love the sport so much, and I worked every step I took at every level. I was small, like Dan Hampton named me small, slow, and friendly. That was my nickname.
Friendly.
I mean, he said, in
Small, slow, and friendly.
Why I gotta be friendly?
Yeah.
Why is my
that's what he
nickname?
said. He
My
says,
nickname's a phrase.
yeah. He was just like small, slow, and friendly. No combination for this sport kid. And Dan had, to earn his respect was like one of the greatest moments of my life. But he goes, you got to solve one of these things because you're not going to last long. If you can't change your size, small, you're not really going to be, any faster. So maybe not be so friendly going forward. But
what does that mean, though?
I don't know. I mean, just was like, don't be, have
Mr.
an
Nice
edge, don't help people up, and, don't let people talk smack to you, or, whatever it was. But like, I love the game. I could catch anything you threw at me. I mean, really, that was my gift. My gift was I could catch, I had good hand-eye coordination, and I really didn't care if you beat the holy hell out of me. Like, I was kind of, oblivious to that.
Are there some hits that stand out?
Thomas Everett hit me in Tampa. 13 stitches. I think 6 were inside, 7 were outside, if that math works.
Oh.
Knocked me out in midair.
Jeez.
I'm still pissed to this day. I had the ball clinched, and as I fell unconscious to the ground, the ball slipped out of my arm, so it was ruled no catch. They took me off the field. It was a great picture
For
of
a series?
my trainer. No, he was holding my face together because you could see my chin, and they take you in and they sew you up, and I'm laying on the table, and Wani was the coach at the time, and I was playing a lot that game because we had injuries, and Wani comes running in, and I'm laying on the table. They're finishing up my stitching, and he's like, he looks at Fred Cato, our trainer, and he goes, "Can he go?" and I'm like underneath that blue tarp they put on you, and I'm like, "Coach, I'll give it a shot." My problem wasn't my face because I took a knee pad and wrapped it around my chin strap, and I was fine. But I'd torn my MCL. I had like a 2nd or 3rd degree tear in my MCL, so I had no stability in my legs. So I go out on the field at halftime, and I'm trying to run little hitch routes, and my knee's giving. And Wani comes running out. And I say that Wani and I have become good friends, and I love Dave. I played for him for 2 years. I was immature at the end of my career and probably wasn't as nice to as Wani as I should have been. But he comes over to me, and he's like, "Can you go?" And I was like, "Dave, I can't run. My face is fine. I can't run. My knee keeps giving out." My trainer, Fred Cato, was like, "He can't do it, Dave." And the last thing I remember is Dave looked at me and he goes, "You son of a bitch," and turned around and walked away because we didn't have any more wide receivers. It wasn't a shot at me.
Yeah.
It was just his frustration that we were going to have to play probably with 2 receivers. So
That reminds me of there's a movie. I don't know if it's like Not Another Team. It's like a spoof movie of Varsity Blues. And the kid's unconscious, and the coach is like, "Can he play?"
Yeah.
Like, he's not breathing. Yeah. Can he play?
Yeah.
I don't think he's conscious.
Yeah.
Because you're just basically you're just a body, right?
Yeah.
You need any able body. If you can't go, who can go?
Next man up.
Yeah.
We used to move drills in practice when someone would go down. Move the drill. And somebody be laying there unconscious, and you're just like, okay, everyone's pushing the drill up. So, yeah, I just think, I love the sport. I worked hard at it. I had this passion for it, and I really was kind of oblivious to, the physical torture that was part of the deal. So.
Man.
Jim Harbaugh was like the primary quarterback for your career, right? You were a favorite of his. Like,
he trusted me. Yeah,
obvious.
And trust was really important with Jim. Jim's probably the toughest guy I ever played. One of the toughest. I play with McMichael.
You stay in touch
Hampton.
with him?
He doesn't answer my calls very frequently anymore.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, we never had a falling out or anything, but, Jim's just kind of in his own world.
He's
doing
kind of
his
a
thing.
quirky guy, isn't he?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
I love him dearly. One of the greatest competitors I've ever seen. One of the toughest guys.
Really?
Oh,
Did you
God.
see this for him, that he would continue in the game, continue in?
We all knew that whatever he chose to do, he was going to excel. And it's part of his, his lineage. His dad, Jack, was a Hall of Fame coach. Obviously, his brother, John, has been a spectacular coach. And we just kind of knew if Jim got into it, he'd be 110% and he'd have tremendous success. So loved playing with him. Would have run through a brick wall if I had the physical capacity to do it for him. I had no problem laying out for anything he threw me because I knew behind the line at times he was taking as many shots as I was. So, I mean, mutual respect.
When your skin looks better, you feel more confident everywhere you go. At work, out with friends, on a date, or like me, at a big show. That's why I like Tiege Hanley. They make skincare simple with a routine that takes about 2 minutes a day. Just wash, exfoliate, moisturize, and you're done. No complicated routines or cluttered bathroom shelves. If you want to look better without overthinking it, try Tiege Hanley. Check it out at Tiege.com/Pat and get 40% off and a free gift. That's Tiege.com/Pat. Tiege Hanley. Put your best face forward. You know who I saw coming over to you in a lot of the highlights, and you could see he's almost sometimes like shaking his head like, oh my God, is he going to get up from this, or how did he catch that one? Wendell Davis.
Oh, one of my favorite teammates of all time.
You could tell you guys are buddies in the highlight reels. You guys had a relationship.
As people ask me who my favorite teammates are, and there's different ways to kind of classify that, I mean, how could you not love Dan Hampton and Steve McMichael and Tom Thayer and Jay Hilgenberg and Jimbo Covert and Richard Dent?
Think about that. All these 85 holdovers.
I called him at the tail
played
end.
you played with
think
all
how
these guys.
blessed I was when I walked into that building for the first time. And, I walk in, and McMahon was part of the team at the time, too. We traded Jim my rookie year to San Diego. And you walk in that room as an undrafted free agent. You see all of these greats, and then Ditka walks in, and you're just like, oh my God, like I've died and gone to football heaven.
Right.
But Wendell was a first-round pick out of LSU, and was immensely talented. Was a great football player, and treated me like I was, not the 53rd guy on the roster. When you get in that wide receiver room, he's a first-round pick. I'm an undrafted free agent. There's a pecking order. It didn't exist with Wendell. Wendell was one of the kindest guys you'll ever meet, one of the most talented guys I've ever met. And we've, to this day, have stayed close and good friends. Have a lot of pride in what we were able to accomplish together out there on the field. He had a daughter, Sydney, at the same time that I had my daughter, our first daughter, Georgia. So he and his wife, Trish, and me and my wife, Cara, and our little girls, there was kind of it was unspoken or even unwritten bond between the two of us. And I had so much respect for Wendell. I think he's the only player in NFL history tore both patella tendons in one play.
I saw that game in Philadelphia, right?
the old
Yeah,
vet.
on that turf.
That turf was one of the worst things you've ever seen. Like, they would cover the bases with AstroTurf. So there'd be a 2-inch raise from the regular field with the turf. And he planted and went up to catch a pass, and both of his patella tendons went out.
I don't understand how they do this with the playing surfaces. The Bears have had an issue for a long time, too.
Yeah.
With their grass.
It's better now. They fixed it.
Well, because I think they got the Sodfather involved.
Yeah.
Well,
Roger
you want
Bossert, right?
to know who was the guy that actually should get the most credit for it? This is going to blow your mind. Matt Eberflus.
Really?
Matt Eberflus did a big study and was adamant about changing the grass to a certain type. Wasn't a great head coach, but was
we're
really
gonna keep
good.
you on as groundskeeper.
Yeah. But they fixed it.
Should have stuck with turf.
Yeah. We're
when
making some changes, Matt.
We came out in the 91 playoff game that we were talking about. We went down on Thursday night to practice on the field. Like, Ditka was like, let's go down there and get a feel for the field. And we're like, Coach, we go down there every Sunday to play. We know the surface. It was brown. There was no grass. We come running out that Saturday afternoon for warm-ups, and it's painted Kelly green. Like it was painted green. It wasn't grass. It was basically dirt that had been painted green. But over the course of time, like that's one of the things. When you got $300 million invested in your players' salaries, you better have
and 20 bucks invested in the turf.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That math doesn't work.
Yeah.
So the Bears have solved their problem. I think across the league, it's pretty elite now what they're playing on.
A lot of people were talking about with the World Cup going on, like why aren't we doing this with football? Well, Kittle was talking about that. Do you have what were some of the favorite like cities that you would go into? Stadiums?
Love Green Bay.
Green Bay.
You just absorb the hate when you would drive down that little tunnel and there'd be an 85-year-old grandma missing a couple of teeth, screaming the F word at you and telling you how horrible you were. You just kind of giggled and laughed, and it was just history. When you got out onto Lambeau Field, you felt like you were part of history. Yeah. You loved it. I hated
and those teams, the Packer teams. We were saying their staff was insane during those days.
Yeah, it was. Well, Mike Holmgren was the head coach for a while. I think when I got there, maybe it was Lindy and Fonte, but that staff that Holmgren had Andy Reid on it. Who else did he have?
Gruden.
He had Gruden on that staff. He had Mooch on that staff as well. I mean, it was an all-star staff, and they were fantastic. They were a great football team. But just to walk into that building was crazy. And some of the other places weren't nearly as impressive. Like we played at the old Cowboy Stadium. That was horrible because it was a turf stadium. It was mostly covered. There was a hole
in the ceiling.
Yeah.
But it was crowned.
Yeah.
So like you'd be running in routes and you'd be running uphill. It was just really
and it was
odd.
beat up outside by the sun and all that. I remember
horrible.
driving by there a bunch. It was like not all that.
Yeah, it wasn't great. So like the improvements in the stadiums have been quite like the Metrodome was garbage.
Yeah.
Just total garbage. The Silver Dome was no good. Like all of the fields were
the in-conference, other than Lambeau.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, we weren't going to puff our chest out. Our place was a dump too. So, but it
looked great from the outside.
It did, especially when
good
you painted the turf
in the city.
Yeah. But it was great. I mean, Soldier Field was obviously historic, but Lambeau was one of my favorites.
Are you? How are you feeling about the present day, where they might go? What?
I love them. I finally think they're in good hands for the first time in a long time. I am just enamored with Ben Johnson. I was obviously a fan of his work when he was the OC at Detroit. One of the best young minds in the game. I think he's the best thing that ever happened to Caleb. Caleb's got an infinite amount of talent, but needs that guy to kind of bring him along. Ben's as creative and as driven as a guy I have ever seen. I think they're in great hands. I think Caleb, again, is a fabulous young quarterback who will be brought along by Ben. I think I don't see – the only concern I would ever have about Ben is he runs so hot. And I say this with love in my voice. He's a football psycho. Yeah. Like everything is football. And that's what you need to really excel in this sport. My only concern with him would be, 10 years from now, will he burn out?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I think they're in great hands. Obviously they got some stuff to do to pick up, what they're doing on the defensive side of the ball. But what they're able to do offensively, I think is going to continue to be really exciting.
What's the vibe for someone like you, being an ex-player, a Bear great legend? Can you walk into Lake Forest? Can you go into Hallis Hall?
I go in there as a media member,
That's why I want
not
to
as
ask
a
you,
former player.
All right. Because I'm wondering, how do they treat you? Because you are media now.
Oh, they're great. I have a great relationship with the people up there. And George McCaskey, I have a fantastic relationship with George. George was in charge of the ticket office.
We're trying to get George on the show, actually.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
And what he said no?
He said that he was going to talk to you after.
I'll put in a good word for you.
Kid, I don't know.
I keep trying to have George on our show.
Oh, you're working.
But he knows
too?
I'm going to ask him a question about the stadium, and I don't think he wants to talk to me about that. So, but I love George. George is great. I kind of stay in my own lane. You say a lot of flattering things, but I'm, that team has more Hall of Famers than any team in National Football League history. I was a role player. The fans, I had a great relationship with the fans and all of that, and I appreciate that. But I don't consider myself a Bear great. So when I walk in there and I'm standing next to Richard Dent, the building is his. It ain't mine. And I'm usually in there, covering the team. So it's kind of a weird dynamic because I get along with everyone, but they still see me as media. And in some ways, I wouldn't say enemy's probably too strong a word, but you're still an outsider looking in from that perspective. Like if I take my media hat off, you're probably more welcome into the building. And it's not like they don't welcome you, but it's kind of an interesting dynamic for me.
Yeah,
because I'm there to work.
Yeah, at this point, it's funny. You've been in media. You've been talking about sports longer than you've played sports.
I think most people in this town probably know me more as a radio or a television guy than they know me as a player.
Yeah.
I mean,
But don't they know you as both, like, immediately, like, you are, you're...
The old people do, but, like, the younger generation probably doesn't know me as well. But yeah, I mean, like, once a bear, always a bear. And, like, I have so much pride and respect for the organization. And
did that make you a fan of the, like, is that your team in the NFL?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean,
what are your feelings towards
objective.
Cincinnati?
I went there as a free agent at the end of my career and lasted like 4 days, and then my knee and my hip gave out.
Oh, man.
But I was a Bengals fan growing up. I was more of a Reds fan than I was even a Bengals fan. So, but I'll always, this team runs through my veins. Like, again, I can't sit here and tell you can't be any more effusive with my praise for them and my respect for them and the opportunity that they gave me. Like, I think only 20,000 people in the history of the sport have ever had a chance to play in the NFL, and I got a chance to play for the charter franchise. So I'll be forever indebted to this town and that team.
Yeah, I mean, and I got to say again, that the feeling is mutual. You are a beloved dude. I mean, and I was
nice
very excited that you agreed to come on here. I know you're a comedy fan too.
I love your work.
Stand-up?
Like I told you when I walked in, I'm a little nervous, like I'm outside my comfort zone here. I got to ask you, I was thinking of this driving in. When you're on stage, A, who are you looking at? And B, how do you keep yourself calm and you don't get into that anxiety-ridden state where you just kind of lose focus?
It's just the repetition, I would say. I mean, wouldn't you say, like, you know, it's like asking you, how do you go out there, 80,000 people, and line up and don't go off sides and, like, you know, run a route? And I mean, it really is just doing it.
Yeah.
And just doing it over and over and over again. And I do look at people, you usually see the people that are not having fun.
Yeah,
which is wild, right?
Right.
I mean, you see, this is what
last time I
comics
saw
always
you,
say.
I think it was at, where were we? I forget where it was, where you were making good fun of a Lake Forest couple in the front row, and I was just dying laughing.
Oh,
I lived in Lake
I've
Forest
actually
for
posted
25
that
years.
clip.
Have you? It was spectacular.
That was at Chicago.
Yeah. I mean, going to your shows is like family event. I got my daughter Georgia and her husband Jack. We would go as a family and go watch.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's great.
That means a lot to me, man. I appreciate that.
Well, you guys are performers, you know?
Yeah.
Like, everyone asks, like, would you trade your NFL career for something else? I said, like, if I could play the guitar.
You and me both.
You could.
Yeah, you and me both. But if I could
Play the guitar,
Yeah.
You ever take lessons?
I took like 5 lessons, and I had too much going on, and I couldn't stay with it. Plus, I play guitar left-handed.
Oh,
So I'm like,
I was going to ask you
my
about baseball.
brain's
Are you
messed
lefty?
up. I could switch. I was a switch hitter.
You were? All right.
Yeah.
How about Silvy? Are you guys buds off
Yeah,
air? You
we're-
guys hang? Does
yeah,
he play guitar?
He doesn't play guitar.
triangle, spoons.
I think he's more of a cowbell guy.
Okay.
I think
All
I'll
right.
keep it simple.
Yeah.
I think the reason why, like, first of all, I have the ultimate respect for him. He's the hardest working guy I've come across in the industry.
Yeah, Mark Silverman, great dude.
Yeah. I mean, it's been his dream to do exactly what he's doing, so he doesn't take it for granted. He puts in the time. He's respected. I think the reason why we've worked for so long is we're just different in so many ways. Like, I have my kids 33, 30, 28, 22. I'm a grandfather. He's got 2 young boys. They're 10 and 12. We're kind of at different stages of life, and, you know, we spend some time outside of the studio, but not a lot. We just kind of we go in different directions, and I think that kind of keeps it fresh.
It does. It works, man. And then even when you guys disagree, you do it in a way that's productive, and both sides are heard, and everybody, and you do a really great job just kind of getting the city vibe in too.
Well, I'm not one of the, like, when I got into this industry, I got into it with a purpose. And I was like, first of all, having been in a locker room my whole life, I know how hard it is. I know how much these guys care. I know how difficult it is to succeed on a consistent level. So I knew I was going to have to be critical of people, but I always kind of my foundation was I'm never going to cross that line and be personally critical. I'm going to limit my critique to how you play on the field. So I kind of like, I've never had that hot take mentality with what I'm doing. I'm not suggesting my way's the right way or the wrong way, but it's just my way. And
yeah, you're not going to sell out for reactions.
And you sort of came along at a time when it wasn't as necessary to have a hot take. Now with the internet and social media and everybody just screaming, trying to get attention.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's just not my style. It's not appealing to me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not afraid to tell you how I feel. Like at this stage, I've been doing it so long. The vast majority of the time sitting in that studio for 4 hours, I'm looking to add levity. Yeah. Like I'm not a pro like you guys, but like I'm just here to make jokes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'll break it down for you.
Right.
Yeah. But I'm already, I mean, this
That's
is
why
entertainment.
people listen.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to sit and listen to you preach about the Cubs' lack of hitting well with runners in scoring position for 4 hours.
Is that what your teammates would say though? That you were like a funny dude? You would be messing around? Who were the funny teammates?
Ron Rivera nicknamed me Tommy Bottle because I like to have a good time.
Oh yeah.
Instead of Tommy Waddle, it was Tommy Bottle.
Tommy Bottle.
Yeah, because I like to have a good time.
Dude, that's a T-shirt.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean sometimes I took it to an extreme.
You're a disgrace.
I am a disgrace. My dad. You're like my dad. I just had a flashback. I remember going on the Sunday night show with Howard Sudbury. I think our thing was when we were done playing after the game, we'd get in our cars and we'd go to the Planet Hollywood. We'd get hammered.
That's where you'd go.
Lemon drop shots for everybody. It was me, John Mangum, P.T. Willis, Shane Matthews. Every now and again, Trace Armstrong would join us.
Oh, man.
Jim Morrissey. But I remember we would just get after it. Nobody was driving. We would all, take cars.
Yeah.
But I remember, then we'd go, we'd celebrate, and I'd have to be on set at, 9:30, 10 o'clock for the sports, whatever it was, wrap-up show. And I remember sitting on set with Howard Sudbury wearing Kim Willis, Peter Tom Willis's wife's hat. Probably couldn't even get a sentence out. But it was, this was the early 90s where not everyone was there on social media ready to light you on fire for being a drunk on television.
I just wanted to give you shit for going to Planet Hollywood.
Oh, yeah,
that's
absolutely.
The
where else were we going? I mean, Hampton and the guys, they were going to more, established places.
I had
Yeah, they would go to wherever it was. We were relegated to going to Planet Hollywood.
Is that what Morrissey got the idea when he's all drunk? I'm wearing 51. I don't even care if it was Dick Buck's his number. I'm wearing 51.
They would give him shit quite a bit about it.
Dude,
some guys would call him.
that.
I'll say this though, Jim's a great friend, and I'll have fun at his expense. There's nobody that I played in 6 years in practice that I struggled to get away from more than him. And he was a middle linebacker. He was the best coverage linebacker I've ever played against. And they'd bring him in for Mike in nickel situations, for Singletary.
Man.
So Jim was ridiculously skilled, but
isn't that funny though how cats are at such a high level, even the second string and third string, but at that level, they could be that good and not even be starters, and you know what I mean?
Specialists. I was I shouldn't have been R1. I should have been R3. But Jim was capable of doing, so many things. But maybe maybe he would sit at home and look in the mirror and call himself Dick Buckus. I don't know. I don't know how he got himself psyched up. But when you're wearing 51, you better bring it. Jim, he brought it. He brought it. He was great.
I want to encourage everybody to go online and check out revisit the Dallas playoff game. It is a Bear loss, which sucks.
Yeah.
But it's a Tom Waddle highlight reel, and to hear Summerall and Madden, and this is what's so cool about it, Tom. Like the generation, the people whose paths you cross with. You're going back to the glory days of the NFL, and now still very connected and knowing these guys, knowing what's going on.
I've got two things in my house that I'm most proud of. One is I have an All-Madden jersey the All-Madden team from '91. It's framed. I think all my daughters wore it for years, and then I finally took it away from them, and I put it in a frame.
They were Jim Morrissey in your jersey.
Exactly, exactly. I was on that team in '91 with Jerry Rice, John Taylor, I believe Gary Clark from the Redskins, Art Monk, I think Freddie Barnett from the Philadelphia Eagles, and my dumbass.
I'm not hearing Andre Rison.
And all these guys. No, he didn't make it that year. He didn't make it that year.
He was trying to put his crib out.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, that was, and then I won the Veteran Award for the Piccolo Award. And that's voted on by your teammates. So those are the two things.
What a high.
Yeah.
Those are the two things that.
Doesn't surprise me, man.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah. But, you know, I know I'm repetitive, but I can't tell you how blessed I feel that I lived a dream, dude. Like, I had a dream of getting to the NFL. I had no expectation that I would be able to live that dream. So, you know,
I mean, it's a movie.
You won't see me strutting out of here.
I'd
You'll
rather
see me
watch
walking slowly.
I'd rather watch Waddle than Rudy. You got to put a screenplay together about your life.
Right. Waddy.
I mean, it is
Waddy.
Tommy
Small,
Bottle.
well, it's going to be called Small, Slow, and Friendly. We're going to have to pay Hampton for it a little bit, but yeah, or Big Tom.
Right.
My grandson calls
Tommy
me.
Bottle.
Tommy
he was
Bottle.
small, slow, and
That's
friendly.
right. Exactly.
Well, thank you for coming by today, man. I know you're busy. I know you got to go and do your own show. And everyone should be checking out, if you don't listen already, Waddle and Silvy, ESPN Radio. You can stream it online, too, if you're not in the Chicago area. It's every day, 2 to 6.
Yep.
Phenomenal show.
Thank you.
And you're doing a lot of national stuff, too. You still do some of the stuff with Dan Patrick or the
Whenever
football
they
weeklies?
call, I'm on with him. I spent 6 years working in L.A. on the NFL Network, and then I went to Bristol for 6 years, and then I just couldn't take the travel anymore. So another example of being blessed with great opportunities. But now I do a little local television with Marquee. I'll do, if anybody calls me, I'm happy to join them. But 2 to 6 weekdays at ESPN 1000 is what I call home, and I couldn't be more happy that I get a chance to do it. But again, I got to thank you guys for having me. This is a treat.
Oh, come on,
I do
man.
all this sports
Thank
stuff,
you.
but I
No.
like to kind of get out of that bubble every now and
Yeah. Well, we'll have you back, dude.
Good.
Yeah.
Appreciate you very much.
Thanks a lot, man.
Been a big fan for a long time, and I know a lot of
Feelings
people
mutual.
are fired up to hear this. All right, guys, Tom Waddle.
Yeah.
What a day. I told you it was a banger.
Yeah.
Banger, yeah.
Right.
All right. Thanks, Tom.
You got it.
The Pat McGann Show is brought to you by the Pat McGann Show team. Producer Paula Thornton. Showrunner Tom Bambera. Audio engineer Tommy Grant. Video production Eddie Perez. Video and audio editor Madeline Curlis. Organic content manager George Moster. Recorded at Tiege Hanley Studios in Chicago, Illinois.